Hi, I'm Daniel, I'm a sleep physician, and if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. In this episode, we're going to look at 4 personality traits that make it more likely that you develop insomnia. Being somebody who worries, type A personality, being an overthinker, and being very health conscious, as well as none of the above. We're going to see how, if you have any of these traits, what you should think about to get better sleep. Hello there, hope you're doing excellent today. Super excited having you back here. I think a lot of value in this episode I hope will be helpful to you. So just a little background of why this episode happened. This channel, it has really become my little baby. I love it. I'm so happy with all the comments, emails. Please keep them coming. It's so helpful. My other baby, as many of you know, is my app, Bedtime. And at work today, I was sketching out an onboarding sequence. You know, when you download an app that's a subscription, there's kind of like a welcome sequence, etc. And I thought it would be nice to get a new client, even before they kind of commit to using it, to get a sense of maybe why they have insomnia. So I thought about like what personality traits predispose you and what is important depending on what trait you have. And as I was doing this, I thought this could be a really good episode for the Insomnia Insight channel. So here we go. So 4 traits. Let's start with probably the most common one, having a tendency to worry. You know, not hard to see why that is. You know, if we tend to worry, we're losing sleep, we worry about that, we're a little bit anxious, hyper aroused, kind of the nervous system, the brain is kind of running on turbo mode very fast. You can easily see how that makes it difficult to sleep. Okay, so if you have this like anxiety, and particularly sleep anxiety, I think this is key. Most people that have like this anxiety or particularly sleep anxiety are really fearful of losing sleep. The prospect of sleep loss, it creates so much anxiety and stress that perpetuates the insomnia. Like the more worried you are, the more you lose sleep, then the more worried you become about losing sleep, and then that leads to behaviors such as as soon as you feel sleepy, like rush into bed and really try to get that sleep, or like if you feel sleepy in the morning, like sleep in, get sleep anytime you can, because you're worried about losing it. So how can you get past that? Well, I think the key thing there becomes taking sleep down from the pedestal, like, you know, not wanting it so much. And how can you get there? Well, here's what I think is the key, is find evidence, even if it's like just that one little outlier, find evidence that you can actually do pretty well, feel pretty good, function pretty well, even if you had a really poor night's sleep. Now, that may be just that once, you may be only be able to find that one time 3 weeks ago where you actually slept only 3 hours and you went on to have a pretty good day. That's enough. If you only have that one evidence that you can actually do well with little sleep, that can be the first step towards like reducing sleep anxiety, reducing the fear of losing sleep. And then as you find one evidence, you find more evidence, and that can really bring down that sleep anxiety. I think that's key if you have that kind of anxiety, sleep anxiety predisposition that is driving your insomnia. Number 2, type A personality. You know, you may be like a high achiever, somebody always gets stuff done, like really productive, you know. And the reason type A personalities often get insomnia is that kind of like always being able to achieve. And then when it says, you know, when you start having trouble sleeping, you're like, no, I should be able to do this. I should be able to sleep. And oftentimes type A personality is like a problem solver. So you may try this, try that, read up, try this, try that. And the more things we try, the more anxiety that actually provokes, because nothing quote unquote works. You know, you're not successful, and that drives you even further. You really want to solve this thing, so you try more things, and that's how type A personalities often develop insomnia. Now, here's the good news: you can exploit that type A personality to actually get past your insomnia. And cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is in a way ideal for the type A personality, because there's, it's very cut and dry, at least in the beginning. Meaning you have these goals of, let's say, get up at 6 a.m. and don't go to bed before 11:30 and don't sleep during the day. That in itself lends itself very well if you have a type A personality. Then you're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And as you start doing that, you start after a while seeing that, whoa, this actually works. I can fall asleep. I fell back asleep easier, and that builds your sleep confidence again. And then you back off from all the other things you were trying. That, I think, is the key for a type A personality. Now, overthinker, I have as number 3 here. And somebody who's like an overthinker, the reason you often develop insomnia is, you start having trouble sleeping, and then you really try to figure it out. Like, why is that? I didn't do anything unusual. Nothing's happened. Could it be that? Oh, it could be that. Maybe it was that. And then you kind of modify something, and then you think about this. And the more attention insomnia gets, the more you think about it, the more preoccupied, the more anxious, the more stressed you become. So that's how overthinkers who really try to figure it out often develop insomnia. Now, being an overthinker can also be exploited to a positive. With CBTI, cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, for example, there's a lot to learn. And being an overthinker, you often, you like to think, you like to learn. So you can learn a lot about like sleep efforts, sleep drive, general sleep physiology. And also you can try to direct that overthinking personality to something else. If you're able to like overthink anything else, anything but sleep, that can really become a key to a sleeping getter, because when you remove attention from insomnia, it cannot survive. And then we have the real health conscious personality, somebody who's like really fit, out jogging every time, like, eats right. And if you're that type, then oftentimes the reason you develop insomnia is that you approach sleep the same way. You learn that you should sleep 8 hours or 7 hours, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is good for my health. I'm going to do this. And then you try to sleep longer, you go to bed earlier, but you don't get more sleep. And then you're like, I'm not reaching my goal. I'm going to start tracking myself, because, that's something people that are health conscious often do, like track, your weight and your steps, etc. You try tracking your sleep, brings more attention to sleep. Nothing's getting better. You become kind of more worried again. And that's how it often happens for health conscious people. And the key there, if you're health conscious, is, I think, a couple things. Number one, realizing that most people sleep about 6 hours, a little more than 6 hours, like 6 hours, 20 minutes or something like that on average, much less than we always hear. There have been no studies or no evidence that shows that insomnia or short sleep causes health problems. Super important. And number 3 here, taking a step back, like not having a goal, or actually make the goal just feel good, not a certain number of hours of sleep, and stop monitoring. I think those are key for you if you have or if you're a healthy person. Finally, number 5 here, if you feel like nothing applies, I have none of this, that is a little bit trickier, because then you might be in this stage where you feel like insomnia is a complete mystery. I have no clue why I have it. And the key then becomes typically to identify hyperarousal, that you don't feel stressed or anxious maybe, but you probably are at a kind of subconscious level. And when you realize that okay, my insomnia is actually very similar to everybody else's insomnia, it's not unique, that gives you the foundation to build upon and get better sleep. So hope this was helpful. And no matter what personality type you have, if you feel like you need a little bit more than in these videos, if you want unlimited access to myself and a great curriculum, please check out Bedtime with a Y on the App Store, and you get a great curriculum and me for free. Me unlimited access to me for free for 2 weeks, I want to say. That said, any questions, comments, super welcome. If you want to email me, daniel@insomniainsight.co, and I'll be back tomorrow with a success story. Until then, bye-bye.